I think, Chairperson, that letter obviously is for the attention of the committee. There are two options to respond to the letter. That's not on the post-bank bill. But one is the committee can take a position on it and confer with the other committee. But I think it's more, and it's for the committee to decide. I think it's more for members of this committee also to be aware that there is this other bill in the committee. And members can, of course, according to the rules, attend those committee meetings, but of course can't vote, but may participate in proceedings. But Chairperson, so it is a matter that can be taken up or not by the Finance Committee. But the bill is, the post-bank bill is similar to this bill in that it covers various portfolios. And I mean, insofar as the General Laws Amendment bill that we are looking at tonight is concerned, yes, of course, one committee will look at the bill and report to the House. Sometimes there's a mandate that there must be conferral with other committees, but most of the time it is a matter of just informally conferring or being aware, and then maybe in caucuses and through political parties submitting positions on that specific bill. So those are really the two realistic options, either through political parties or for a committee to take a position. I'm not sure if there is a decision on whether this letter that came from the committee, can have a look at it, and one can probably distribute it to members, and maybe the members need to just say something on that, Chairperson, to see if they want to have a committee position on it and respond formally on that letter, Chair. If not, then political parties respond to that letter through their caucuses, Chair. Thank you. I mean, I can ask more. I think I'll leave it there for now, Chair.
Okay, that's the explanation. Back to you, Dr. George.
Thank you, Chairperson. Well, yes, I was only aware of the letter because my colleague mentioned it to me. So yes, it would be a very good idea for the members to actually get that letter. That's the one thing. The other thing is also, in my opinion, this is a very significant bill because it's a post-bank bill. It's a bank that's being established, and it's certainly a finance matter. So in my opinion is that the committee should at least have some kind of discussion on it, given the nature of the bill. But of course, that is my position, and certainly my party's position on the matter. But yeah, I said I would raise it, and so I have. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Advocate Jenkins, is that the understanding?
Yes, Chairperson, I've just looked at the letter. In fact, I can read out, let me just find it again, I'm sorry. I think that the request in the letter from Honourable Manelli, from the Chairperson of Communications and Digital Technologies, is that the committee peruse. The committee requests that the Standing Committee on Finance peruse the bill for concurrence, and should there be any comment, refer to the committee in writing. So, Chair, maybe between Alan and myself and the other staff, one can look if there's a moment where one can schedule some time for this bill and just to get some committee bill on it. So, Chair, I mean, from my side, from the advisor side, I think what is required is just that the committee has a look at the bill and see what any comments the committee wants to make as a committee. But I want to add to that, seeing that committees take decisions on majority views, and of course, nothing stops political parties individually from commenting on that bill and submitting separate positions other than the Standing Committee on Finance, Chairperson. I'll leave it there for now, Chair. I don't know if there's anything, if I've answered the question of Mr. George, or whether I've given guidance. So I think, Chair, the committee has to take some time to look at this bill and respond to that letter in a formal way. Thanks, Chair.
No, okay. Yeah, that's the explanation, Dr. George. I see Momo is here in the platform. And Vukile, what was the discussion in the executive when it comes to a general law amendment like this, that which cut across so many other legislations, and consequentially we have to amend legislations that do not belong to us here. How did you deal with it at that level of the executive?
Yes, Chair. No, thank you, Honourable. Evening, Honourable Chair and colleagues. And apologies, I've got a nasty cough and flu. Yeah, no, Chair, I think, you know, as government, when this bill was before Cabinet, and I should add before, we said that because it changes so many bills, if we let every ministry come out with separate laws, we would not make the process in time. And it was accepted that aside from the Poktadara amendment, where they were ready, the Safety and Security Department was ready, all the other law changes would be put into one bill, which covers a few ministries. And all the departments and so on were consulted in the process. And in fact, in some cases, contributed to those clauses, certainly responded to the clauses as well. Chair, and that's why I think when we tabled the bill, I think the minister did write a letter to the committee and to Parliament to alert you that it does affect other portfolio committees, and is there a way for Parliament to bring them into the picture and perhaps find a way to do that. That was something I know the minister did point out right at the start. I think now, just to your other question, I think whilst there's amendments that are made, we have been consulting with the relevant department. And I think last week, I don't know if they're here today, but the biggest change, one of the biggest change was around the NPO and Department of Social Development. And I know that they were on the platform last week. I hope, I haven't checked all the names. I hope they're on today as well. But I'll stop there, Chair. Thank you.
No, okay. Momo. Honorable Abraham, I see you are raising your hand. Are you getting your members to connect so that we can start?
Chair, there seems to be a great problem. I got my letter and she logged in, but dropped again due to network problems, due to load shedding. I am also in an area where I'm also load shedding. I didn't log in on time because of that. The other members also, I couldn't get through to them. There seems to be a problem, Chair. So if you can bear with us a little bit, we are still trying to get hold of other members. For now, we are struggling very, very critically. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, can you do that so quickly? Because we had to remember we should have dealt with this matter last week. It was postponed and we are behind time in terms of schedule. And NCOP is also complaining that this is going to impact also on their committee schedule. So the sooner you get other members to be in the platform, the better. Honorable Swart, I see you are raising your hand.
Just before we start formally, I just wondered, we got a whole lot of documents yesterday, and I seem to have missed one of them, and that relates to the senior counsel's legal opinion. Can we just establish from National Treasury, it's one of the annexes to the minister's letter, maybe, or from Ellen, maybe I missed that, because it relates to the issue of constitutionality that I raised. And we got a number of annexes to the minister's letter, A, B, E, and F. Annexure C is the legal counsel's opinion, which the minister says he attaches and he hopes it will be helpful to the committee. Maybe we can just get that, because I do understand the urgency of the matter, and one doesn't want that maybe Advocate Jenkinson, I don't know, has anybody else received that senior counsel's opinion? Thank you.
Alan, probably, yeah. Can you quickly email it to members?
Will do, Chair.
Okay. Yeah, there are so many documents that in the process sometimes not all of them have been sent through, but I think it is there. Send it to members in the meantime. Hey. Noxe, are we succeeding?
Still trying, Chair. Still trying.
Chair,
Two of them.
Sorry to come in, but there's 7 members on the platform. Since you started, Ms. Abram, Ms. Mabileta, and Mr. Marolong joined the meeting. So it's a great thing now, Chair.
Is Mabileta back? Alan, is Mabileta back?
Just checking quickly. No, she seemed to have dropped off again. But it's still 6 members because Mr. Marolong is still online.
Chairperson, may I ask then, while we are waiting for the members, having got the information from Advocate Jenkins, whether we are going to, as a committee, then consider that bill, or what is the way forward on it? Because it is a very important matter. So I'd like to know when we would get some clarity on how we would actually deal with that, and also obviously when we will get the letter on that post bank. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Dr. George. Advocate Jenkins, how do you propose we should go about with that bill?
Chairperson, I think step 1 would be table the letter in the committee. Maybe allow, even now while we're waiting, or some time for committee, committee needs to read the letter and then maybe have a short discussion on what the position is going forward on this letter relating to the post-bank bill. And then take it from there, Chairperson. If there's a committee position, or if the committee wants a briefing, I don't know the timeframes for the request from the Communications Committee, Chair. That's another thing that maybe from our administration side we can find out what's the timeframes for that. And then one can maybe schedule some time where the committee can give attention to a chairperson. But step one would be to table the letter and have a short discussion about the way forward. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, that's the explanation from Advocate Jenkins. Dr. George, is that the understanding?
Chairperson, that sounds very sensible. So if we can get the letter, then we as a committee can maybe discuss the letter when we have the opportunity, but it must be done quickly because my understanding is that bill is nearing completion in that committee. So yeah, we must move on it, but that sounds like a very good idea. So if we get the letter, we then can, as Advocate Jenkins suggests, as a committee, then decide what it is that we want to then do. But I think that would be good and due process. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. George. Alan, we seem to have a problem here. Members are in and out. What's happening? How many members are in the platform, Alan?
Last count was 7, Chair. Beauty can just confirm if it's still 7.
I'm here. Pastor Steve, Dr. George, de Villiers. Who else? Butle, are you there? Ewo.
Chair, it
Oh,
seems Ms. Mabileta and Mr. Morolong dropped off again.
and Miss Abrams too.
So in the platform is myself, Pastor Steve, Dr. George, Honorable de Villiers. Who else?
That's it for now, Chair. It's just the 4 members.
Yeah. What's happening? Because we have informed members in time about this. Let's get on. Right. No. Cindy, I haven't seen you for a long time. How are you? Cindy August.
Chair, whilst we're waiting, may I raise the issue of the opinion with you?
Yes,
Yes, maybe the acting DG can just give us an idea as to the status of the opinion, because I noticed that it is at the top, it says privileged and confidential, legally privileged. Against that is also the letter from the minister that indicates that the members of the committee will find this legal opinion helpful. Now, I appreciate it's not a parliament, it's not requested by Parliament, it's requested by National Treasury, you the instructing client. So what is the nature of that opinion? Because one doesn't, it's now in the, to what degree is it in the public domain? I think we as committee members need to know that. And I think the reference is in the minister's letter. But the concern I've got is the legal issue of it being said that it is privileged, legally privileged. Thank you, Chair.
yes, Momo. Is it for circulation? And,
No, Chair, we have made it, we've sent it to the committee with the minister's letter. So I'm trying to see why Honorable Swart didn't get it. And generally, when we give it, we in effect making it public. And I think when we speak through the bill, we'll show you how we've taken the opinion into account. But perhaps Advocate Van Schoor or Advocate Janine Bedner can come in here.
yeah, initially, why we did not distribute it until we got a go ahead, it was that tagging which says it's confidential. So we wanted to check the confidential part, whether it's even confidential to members or it's not for distribution. So it was that was that we were working on it until now that we felt no, let it be distributed to members. But now that we have sent it to members, I think you can talk about it while we are waiting for the quorum. So, but initially,
yes, sure.
we wanted to check from the minister and from the office as to if the minister says this is confidential, is it only for the attention of the chairperson, or is it for the attention of the legal team in Parliament, or is it for the attention of the members of this committee only? It can't be distributed. So if that clarity can be sought, I think it will also assist.
Yeah. No, I'll let our advocates come in, but my understanding is that we were making it public. It's just when the advocates just generally provide an opinion, then I thought that's just a standard that they almost always put down, that is between them and their client, I guess. But let Advocate Van Schoor come in.
Good evening, Honourable Chair and committee members. Yes, the document was secured by Treasury or obtained by Treasury, and as the acting DG indicated, it standard practice generally from Council to put that on the cover page, but it's the client's choice whether to make it public or not, and that's so it can be made public in our view. Thank you.
Thanks. Pastor Steve?
No, I'm happy. It's just a pity we didn't get the document earlier, but it makes good reading. And I commend my good friend, Jeremy Gauntlet, on his input. Thank you.
Thanks, Pastor Steve. Yeah, we're still trying to get that clarity that if it is written confidential, what does it mean? Maybe it landed to us by mistake. The minister shouldn't have sent it to us, but we'll clarify later that we can distribute it to members. So apology for sending it late, but we're still trying to get that clarity. We wanted to err on the side of caution. Alan, we are not succeeding here. Honorable Nkosi Buthelezi is not here. Let me try to get hold of.
Jay, shouldn't we start in the meantime? And because I do appreciate there's a lot of work to go through, but
How many are we? Alan Tebogo, Zuti?
It's still only the 4 members, Chair. It's yourself, Honorable Swart, Honorable George, and Honorable de Villiers.
the opposition dominates, Chair, so it's a bit of a challenge.
Let's make some decisions.
Yeah.
Can we vote on the bill?
Yeah, today the opposition is going to take a serious decision here. Everyone, is it load shedding? What is the problem? Let me also try to get hold of the whip of the ANC.
Chair, we'll bring a few extra of our members as well if necessary, and I'm sure Dr. George will as well.
The challenge will be whether they've got the voting status. Remember, when it comes to voting, we have to make sure that those who are in the platform can have the voting status. Alan, are we succeeding?
Not yet, Chair. I'll just make a few phone calls again.
Let me also try to call. we don't seem to be succeeding with these honorable members who are trying to call. There's others are saying they have got connectivity problem and so on and so on. Alan, is it possible that we meet the first thing either 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning to process this bill? Because how do we process a bill with 4 members? And even if we can invite other members who are, what do you call them? Alternate. I'm not sure whether legally it will be proper.
Yes, Chair, there's no committee meeting tomorrow morning, so I can do that with your permission, obviously. And the alternate members are on the committee mailing list.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that this thing have to happen. I also have a NEC of the ANC tomorrow, starting from 10 o'clock, but I will prioritize this committee. I will have to arrive late to that other meeting. So what time do you suggest we start tomorrow in the morning? 8, 9?
Chair, Mr. Swartzand is up.
Honorable Swart?
Chair, can I just establish, I understand I'm an alternate member. Can Alan just confirm that? I think a challenge is that I've got a Justice Committee meeting, but I do appreciate that one does need to go through this bill, but I played quite a key role with the NPA sector, or not to miss that. But just can I clarify with Alan, as far as I understand it, I am an alternate member. I'm entitled to vote. Is that correct, Chair?
Alan,
maybe you can come back to me.
That's correct. Mr. Swart is an alternate member. Yes.
Chair, the challenge is that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. It's not just quickly going through. The report is 10 pages odd. There's a lot of errors in the report I've picked up already, just grammatical errors and words missing. So I don't think it's a very quick process, and I'm sure Dr. George would have a similar view. So would you anticipate I'd just like to hear what your views are, because I anticipated a 2-3 hour meeting tonight going through the processes. There's a lot of amendments that we need to hear from the National Treasury. There are improved amendments based on the legal opinion, which I've now gone through. But I do think it's a complicated matter. Bear in mind, National Treasury asked for extra time, and we got volumes of documents yesterday afternoon that we still need to go through. Obviously, it's an urgent issue, but maybe we just need to discuss how we intend going through this bill, understanding the urgency of it. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Swart. Dr. George?
Thank you, Chairperson. Yes, sorry, I was just battling to unmute there. Yes, I think my complexity is that tomorrow morning I have an appointment at 8 o'clock that I cannot change. So that could be a problem, but I will then endeavor to get my colleague, at least my 2 colleagues, to be on the committee then, Honourable Sarupan, if I can, and de Villiers, if I can as well. So yeah, we'll have to just do it that way then, if that's the case. It is, though, very troubling that we don't have a quorum on this. I mean, you know, I know life happens, etc., but this is not a good thing for the committee. It certainly doesn't look good. This process has taken a long time. It's late and so on. So we don't want to be pressured into, you know, being sloppy in our work. But anyway, I won't belabor that point. But yeah, we must do what we have to do, and as quickly as we possibly can. So if it has to be tomorrow, then I will do what I can. So yeah, that would be our position from the DA. On the letter that we spoke about earlier from the committee, from the Communications Committee. Could you please arrange for that, for us to receive that as soon as possible? Maybe like now in the email, if possible, please, because I really would like to get that. So yeah, on the letter, if I can have it, please, and then on the committee, I mean, if we have to do it tomorrow, then we have to. But yeah, let's just get this thing done, and I will endeavour to get my colleagues on. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. George. Alan, we have that letter. Can we distribute it to members?
Yes, Chair, I'll send it immediately after this meeting.
Yes, and also it will have been good that members who have been participating in this process be part of the meeting tomorrow. Their inputs will be very, very, very critical. So it will not be proper that you find Dr. George, Pastor Steve, who have been very active, are not there. If needs be, we can push it even to lunchtime if they are comfortable, so that it should not be like we're trying to find a leeway to have other members not part of processing this bill to the final end. Because if you have got other committees in the morning, we can delay a bit and make sure that you are back and participate. Yeah. Honorable Swart?
No, Chair, I appreciate the gesture, but I'm quite an expert at moving between two committees. So I think we should try and stick to the morning, given that I've also got I have to speak at a conference at lunchtime, so that's going to even complicate matters. So I'm in your hands, but I would prefer us then to stick to the morning schedule. I know in the afternoon members are traveling, so that's difficult, but if we could start at 9 o'clock or 9:30 tomorrow morning, then I will make myself available, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Pastor Steve. So we'll try to start around that time, so that you can be accommodated. Thanks very much, honorable members. Let's adjourn this meeting, which is not correcting, until we meet again tomorrow. We'll issue out notices after this meeting. Thanks very much.
Recording stopped.